הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be with you once again. There was once an elderly lady who said to her husband, "I hope you live bis 119. And the husband was rather dismayed. 119 is 119. According to the Torah, Moses lived to 120. And so it's a blessing to say to someone, may you live to be 120. And he said, why 119? Why not bis 120, 120? And she said, well, I'd like to have 1 year to myself. My friends, we give thanks that we live in an age where people regularly live to 60s, 70s, 80s, and longer. And we give thanks tonight that our Shabbat service is being graced by 119 years of marriage. It's probably the only time this has ever happened in any Shabbat celebration, because we have Ann and Michael Herman celebrating 55 years, sponsoring the Shabbat and leading us in the candle lighting. We also have Marion and Bernie Bernstein, married for 64 years, leading us in the celebration of the wine and the Kiddush. If you add it together, they've both been married for 119 years, which is quite extraordinary, but it's more than that. If you combine it, because there's two in each marriage, we have 238 years of marriage celebrated tonight. And we give thanks for marriage. We give thanks that we have family units that love each other, especially the Jewish family. We give thanks that we weren't born in a civilization where the families are not allowed to live in freedom and harmony as happened to Jews in ages past. So let us give thanks for marriage. And the Shabbat celebration itself is compared to a marriage. Shabbat is considered the Sabbath bride, eagerly anticipated with love and affection. The Jewish people wait for the Sabbath. And just like with a marriage, it's unpredictable, it's exciting, it's renewing. Same thing with Shabbat. And so get ready to celebrate Shabbat with the welcoming of the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi.
בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם ברינה ובצלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי קלה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם ברינה ובצלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם ברינה ובצלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם ברינה ובצלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת אחת קלה, בואי קלה.
Shabbat Shalom. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames purify and renew, soften and refine. They brighten and make warm. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad l'kner shel Shabbat.
We hope this Shabbat finds you all in good health. Shabbat Shalom and stay well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad l'kner shel Shabbat. Amen, amen,
Shabbat Shalom. The beginning of Shabbat is marked by reciting a benediction sanctifying the day.
Kish, which means sanctification, is the prayer recited over the wine through which Jews proclaim the uniqueness of Shabbat.
Sweet wine has long been used to make Shabbat a little sweeter.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagofem. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine.
Bernie and I are celebrating our 64th anniversary. We hope that by our next anniversary, the virus will be a thing of the past and our country will be united without fear. If we could, we would make it happen.
Shabbat Shalom.
When life began, sometime before all knowing, it's growing strong inside of me. Come take my hand and join me in where I'm going. Together we'll find our destiny. Warm, glowing bright, Sabbath flames, spreading light on Friday night. Join with me, sweet Sabbath wine makes the simcha seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
I'm inclined as a Jew to spread peace and brotherhood.
We're now going to continue our Shabbat celebration with some of the beautiful traditional prayers of Judaism. The Shema, the V'ahavta, Ma'ariv Achavim. When we listen to these prayers, we realize that we have come a long way since the beginning. Many people no longer believe in the ancient words, and so they just discard Judaism and they stay home. Today, all you have to do is click, and you can be part of our Shabbat celebration. Most Jews don't even do that because they think these things are archaic. They are not. For even if we no longer believe in the exact same traditional views of our ancestors and their view of God and prayer, we still can share and rejoice in what they found to be so miraculous about the universe, the joy, the wonder, the love, the miracle of nature. And we share in all of that, perhaps a little better informed. In fact, they call science informed worship. The more we know, the more miraculous it is. So let us take a moment now to give thanks. And you're also going to hear a song, an original song called Listen. When you hear listen, remember, Shema is listen. And that's what we'll be reading from the Torah. Shema means to listen and to pay attention. The prayer talks about listening to God. For those who don't believe in the traditional form of God, when you hear God, think of that unique, precious source of life that's in you, that's in us, that's in everything, and is something that we give thanks for. And we also seek to connect our lives with the lives of all others. So listen to these beautiful prayers as we continue with our Shabbat celebration.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim. ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבי שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all of your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen.
My friends, one of the things that is different about these Shabbat celebrations, besides the fact that you don't have to come to synagogue, is that I get to watch myself and see what I look like, which really is very disconcerting. A lot of times I look and I think, oh my gosh, can't I do better than that? But I learn a lot from watching these videos, especially the fact that my hair is getting pretty long. And I guess that's what happens when there's a pandemic and you don't get your hair cut for 6 months. And I figure I'm better safe than sorry. And I also remember what happened to Samson. Poor Samson cut his hair, and that was pretty much the end of him. Now, I don't have the strength of Samson, but I do have something in common, because my father, his name is Sam, and so I'm Samson. And I give thanks to my father, Sam, Rabbi Sam Silver, and my mother, Elaine. And I give thanks to our ancestors, as we all do, and to our parents and our grandparents, those who created this wonderful tradition of Judaism. And we also give thanks that we weren't born reptiles. If we were a reptile, our parents, maybe they would have laid eggs and then abandoned us, or maybe eaten us. Let us give thanks that we're part of a species, a mammalian species that loves its young and that celebrates the family. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanura El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. We're now going to spend a few moments in silent meditation. As we do so, we think of those who are ailing, those who are sick, far too many. We remember that this week we reached a milestone, a very tragic, sad milestone, 150,000 dead from the coronavirus, and so many others injured, and so many others who are ailing. I hope that during this pandemic, we will listen not to politicians and not to spin artists and con artists, but listen to medical people and take precautions and be careful and give thanks to our scientists and respect science and not deny it. And in this way, perhaps, everyone will be able to reach good health and a refuah shalema. Let us spend a few moments in silent meditation.
רפאנו אדוני ונרפא, הושיענו וניוושע, אל קרוב לכל קורב, אך קרוב לרעב אישו. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to us again, and oh, please heal us now. רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, רפואה שלמה, אינה לפניו. Oh, please heal us, please heal us.
רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, רפואה שלמה.
Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
My producers of these Shabbat celebrations have told me, Rabbi, can't you make it a little shorter? We got a lot to do. And I'm thinking, what else do you have to do? It's the middle of a pandemic. Where do you have to go? But I have decided to try to streamline these services, and so I'm going to deliver today the shortest Torah reading I've ever done. I said to my producers, could you spare 6 words of the Torah? They said, okay, I think so. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to read 6 words from the Torah. the 6 quintessential words, the watchword of the Jewish faith that happens to come from this chapter of Deuteronomy. It also contains the 10 Commandments and the V'ahavta, but I decided to go with the shortest one and the most central one to the Jewish faith, the Shema. So let's recite the blessing before the Torah as we begin to delve into this passage.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam voed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
And here we are in the book of Deuteronomy, reading the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And now I will do something also unprecedented. I am going to show you the Torah reading. I'm going to try to show it to you on the video because this Torah reading is very unique. The Torah, as you probably know, has no punctuation, no capital letters. All the letters are written the same, except in this passage. In this passage, 2 letters are bigger. Ayin and Daled. The Ayin at the end of Shema and the Daled at the end of Echad. And therefore, these 2 letters are written larger because they spell a word. They spell Ed, which means a witness, and they also form the word Ed or Ad, which is in Olam Va Ed, which means forever. What that means, my friends, is that the Jewish people are an eternal witness forever of the teachings of the Shema, which we will be getting into. But the Shema teaches the unity of all people, and we should bear witness to that by trying to bring harmony and love among all people. Now, the word aide also is French. It means to help, A-I-D-E, or in English, aid means someone who assists. And so therefore, the Jewish people should always come to the aid of the oppressed and should always aid in the effort to promote harmony among all people. Now I will show you the Torah reading. I don't know if you can see that, but it's the Shema there, and the Ayin and the Dalet are a little bit bigger. Now we have the blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu tochat emet v'chayei olam nata bitochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
There's once a girl in religious school class, and she drew a picture, and the teacher came over to her and said, "That's an interesting picture. What is it?" And she said, "This is a picture of God." The teacher said, "That's ridiculous. Nobody knows what God looks like." And she said, "Well, they do now." It was Einstein who said that if a hippopotamus could draw, God would look like a hippopotamus. Yes, people have tried to figure out what God is like and what God looks like. Today we know that there's no image or picture that represents God. Our ancestors knew that too. But there was a lot they didn't know. In a pre-scientific age, in the Bronze Age of human evolution and development, they didn't know a lot of things about God that we know today. If God is the creative power in the universe, there's a lot to learn. And clearly he speaks the language of science because that's how everything was created and that's how everything operates. So to learn about God, we need to learn about science. But we also need to look into our scriptures. And so we have here our first effort, really, a very early effort to understand God. And scientists tell us that sometimes you want to start out with the least amount of information possible and then try to draw conclusions from there. But don't start forming lots of conclusions without evidence. So let's start with the bare basics of the Shema. And this teaches us so much about what Jews believe about God. And these principles and ideals applied today through reason can still help us understand so much about this creative power within us and the universe. So let's look at the Shema. It starts out with a word, Shema. Shema means to hear or to listen. What does it mean to be Jewish? It means to listen and to pay attention to the suffering and the oppressed and the voiceless. What is God? God is a power within us that's asking us to not just be consumed with ourselves, but to listen and see what's going on in the world around us and to connect with the outer world. The next word is Yisrael, Shema Yisrael. Yisrael means one who struggles with God. It means that we Jews do not accept on blind faith some kind of notion about what God is, some guy up in the sky or some anthropomorphic version. Now, many Jews today, especially the Orthodox and traditionalists, they do just accept something based on what they've heard about or what's written in the Torah or what somebody told them. This really is a form of idolatry. So to be Jewish really means to struggle with the concept of God and not just think, oh, it's laid down thousands of years ago, it's in the Torah, I know what it is. No. As a child develops, they learn more and more and more. And they can understand the world in better terms and in more sophisticated terms. Same thing is true with Jews. Our ancestors had a glimpse of what God was all about, and today we know better. Yisrael means struggling with God. It means to constantly challenge, to question, to refine, to evolve, to grow the concept of God as human knowledge grows and as we grow. And each one of us has the capacity to learn more and more about God all the time. And in this congregation, practicing Cosmic Judaism, we intend to try to help build the Judaism of tomorrow, because every generation learns more and more and stands on the shoulders of the last one. Shema Yisrael Adonai. Adonai doesn't really capture what the word is. The word is actually Yud He Vav He. It's called a tetragrammaton. It's 4 letters. It was pronounced probably Yahweh or something like that. And what it means really is the creative power that generates existence, that causes things to be. And the word Yahweh has within it the 3 forms of the verb to be, which in the present tense is almost unheard of in Hebrew, but the 3 forms are Haya, Hoveh, and Yihiyeh, meaning that this is a transcendent power that always was, always will be, in some ways that we're just beginning to understand, and it's something that is transcendent. And so we remember that this power, this creative power, is not only in everything in the universe, it's in us. The next word, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Eloheinu means that Eloheinu is the all-powerful. It comes from a Canaanite word, El, which is God. It means that what should govern our lives, that what's the most powerful force within us should be this drive to connect and to understand this creative power in us. As I mentioned, Yisrael means struggling with God. But we Jews believe if we apply divine, wonderful principles of kindness, of justice, of love, then when we enter that struggle, we prevail. And then we have the next word again, Yahweh, all over again, meaning that this eternal power, this creative force that's within us, it's always in us. And it comes back again and again. It's worth repeating. The last word is Echad, which is one, meaning that we Jews believe in one God. Some groups, Zoroastrians for instance, believed in 2 gods, forces of good and evil, fighting it out, slugging it out. We don't believe that. We believe that the whole universe is unified, it's harmonious, and therefore we have as a goal to bring harmony to the world. We also don't believe in 3 gods. Christians have the Trinitarian, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. We don't believe that God has children or offspring, or that God could be born or die. That doesn't make any sense at all. God is eternal. And therefore, there's no such thing as God having children. This is a power that's one. We also don't believe in many gods. We don't believe that there are competing forces out there wrestling with each other. We believe ultimately that everything derives from one creative power. Einstein believed it too. And he united so many of the forces of gravity and the nuclear force and the weak nuclear force. He united all these different forces and the speed of light. He also believed that one day all forces of nature would be unified under one theory. He had a faith in unity just like all Jews do. So we believe this power is one. And therefore, perhaps more importantly, that means all humans are one and all living things are one, and we should live in harmony with everything. Now, the word one seems to be simple enough. God is one. But sometimes it's interpreted differently. It does mean, as I mentioned, that there's just one divine power. But it also means it's unique. In other words, it's not just like some other force out there or something else. It's transcendent. It's the power that unites all, is within all, but is beyond all. It's supreme. And one also means that it's not diverse in that this powerful force is all harmonious and homogenized. It's not like a human being where you have an arm and a leg and an eye and a nose. It's like all one powerful force that's manifest in different ways. The Shema is indeed the watchword of the Jewish faith. But I hope that when we recite it each week, it will not become rote. We will not just recite it without thinking, but let us think about all the ramifications of the Shema, the unity of all living things, the harmony that we seek in the world, the ability to listen, and the ability to connect with everything else, and to realize our place in the universe. We are no less than everything else, and we're also a part of it. And if we really understand these principles, we'll grow with it, we'll learn, and above all, we will achieve shalom, peace within our hearts, and peace with all living things. Shabbat shalom.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כיי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We now continue with the reading of the Kaddish. This is a very grim Kaddish that we'll read as the number of deaths from coronavirus in the United States has reached and surpassed 150,000. As we lament this tragedy, let us try to learn from our experience and let us practice good health, listen to the doctors, and see what we can do to bring about an end to this crisis. And let us try to emerge from it better and stronger and more prepared for the next one. We also remember at this time our loved ones, our dear ones, who gave so much to us, who inspired us in so many ways. Let us honor them. Let us make their lives and their memories a blessing by living up to the high potential they saw in us and carrying on their unique gifts and message and their unique and wondrous qualities that we have inherited so that they can continue to make this world a better place and we can make their memory a blessing. Yiskedal v'yiskadash Shema Rabba v'yomad yivach ruseh v'yomnich ma'chuseh v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shema Rabba mivorach l'olam omei omaya yisporach v'yistabach v'yispoar v'yisroma v'yisnaseh v'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal Shema k'rishah b'rechu le'elam enko b'rchasa v'shirasa tush b'chasa v'nechamasa da'am yachon b'yoma v'yimru amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace bring peace and comfort to those who mourn. And let us say, Amen. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be protected and guarded through life. Ya'ich Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of love shine upon you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the teachings and the inspiration and the beautiful messages that we hear from our sages and our ancestors, so that the result will be shalom. And may you always remember the words of the Shema and their importance and its teaching that Jews should not only live in harmony with each other, but we should bring harmony, oneness, unity, love, brotherhood, friendship to all humanity and to all living things. In that way, we will fulfill our role as part of the light unto the nations. I hope you'll also join us as we continue to evolve our understanding of God as far as we are personally concerned, and also the Jewish people's evolving understanding. You can join with us on the high holidays for free, without charge, as we join this exploration and this journey of discovery together. You're also welcome to join us at 8:30 tonight on Friday night in the interactive Zoom. If there's something that you would like to challenge or question, or some point that you would like to make to add to what was discussed here tonight, or other topics, you're welcome to do so. We invite your participation. We welcome your challenge to our ideology or our thoughts, and we cherish our friendship and our love for all people and our ability to connect. Shabbat Shalom.
השמש לה כדבש וחלב, ארץ בה נולדנו, ארץ בה נחיה, ונשב בה יהיה מה שיהיה. ארץ שנאהב היא לנו אם ואב, ארץ של העם, ארץ לעולם, ארץ בה נולדנו, ארץ בה נחיה, יהיה מה שיהיה. ארץ, 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 ים אל מול החוף, ופרחים וילדים
you so much for joining us on this beautiful Shabbat and enjoying what Congregation Lador Vador has to offer. I'm Sharon Leibovitz, and I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. We thank Rabbi Barry Silver, Rose Lopater, Andrew Susman, and Arnie Pickholtz for making tonight's Shabbat service so enjoyable for us all. Thank you to Ann and Michael Herman for sponsoring tonight's Shabbat in honor of their 55th wedding anniversary. And also to Marion and Bernie Bernstein for their sponsorship in honor of their 64th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov to all of you, and thank you for participating and supporting tonight's Shabbat service. We invite one and all to join us on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Zoom as we meet candidates that are running in the August primary. In this way, we can be more informed and make the best and right decisions when voting. This past week, we had candidate forums for 6 different candidates, and we'll continue to provide this service to you each Tuesday evening up until the primary date. Let's make our votes count and get the right person into office. You can find out more about all of our virtual programming and more about Lador Vador on our website, ladorvador.org, or within our voice email newsletter, which is sent out several times a week. If you're not receiving our voice email newsletter, get in the know with Lador Vador and sign up on our ladorvador.org website and see what we have to offer. Please join us for our Oneg Shabbat time together at 8:30 p.m. tonight and each Friday evening. We call it Zoom and Schmooze, and we welcome your news, views, comments, and more. Go onto our website, ladorvador.org, and click on the Zoom and Schmooze image at the top on the home page and join in. We hope to see you there. We wish you all a beautiful Shabbat and a wonderful, healthy, and happy week ahead. Shabbat Shalom from Lador Vador. We miss you all.
ארץ, 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 ארץ תחול עיניו, והשמש לה כדבש וחלב. ארץ בה נולדנו, ארץ בה נחיה, ונשב בה יהיה מה שיהיה. ארץ שנאהב, הילה